Some people say that this virus is not serious. Some people say, well, it is serious. I think most people now are kind of agreeing. Yeah, maybe we've had 60,000 people dead relating to it. I know if you visit right-wing sites, are those infected with right-wing thoughts about the government just trying to kill us all. Even those people admit maybe 20 or 30% of them are legit, which would still put us at 20, 30,000. I mean, if you were so inclined to think some of them are legit. Because, you got Candace Owens running around with no real proof saying, hey, half of these are not even really coronavirus. He also had a hangnail, Johnson. He may have died from the hangnail. People die from hangnails all the time. And he had diabetes, even though we're dealing with this monstrosity. They want to open up everything because, we know economics and money. We got to make the money. Here goes Governor Christie giving his version of, well, sometimes people got to die speech.
Play something that former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie said to our Dana Bash today. I'm going to play this.
Of course, everybody wants to save every life they can. But the question is, towards what end ultimately? Are there ways that we can thread the middle here to allow that there are going to be deaths? And they're going to be deaths no matter what. And if we can do things to keep people in the mode of wearing masks, of wearing gloves, of distancing where appropriate, we've got to let some of these folks get back to work, because if we don't, we're going to destroy the American way of life in these families, and it will be years and years before we can recover.
I mean, that is what it boils down to. Do you agree with what he's saying?
Well, I think that it's absolutely true that there are a lot of costs for high unemployment and a huge crash in the economy that we have seen. And there are a lot of social costs. There are obviously the economic costs, but there are also medical costs. There, in the sense of health costs. We generally, when the economy goes down, you see domestic abuse, for example, go up. You see depression go up. So there are, in fact, a lot of costs. And so we're trying to do two things in Ohio at once, and we're trying to do it very, very carefully. But I think that you are trying to do both of those things. And but the bottom line really is Ohioans have been great about distancing. They've got us this far. They've flattened the curve. They got us to the point where we are today. They're going to have to continue to do that if we're going to avoid a big spike in a number of cases and see a dramatic increase in the number of deaths. I have confidence that they can do that. But it's not the orders I issue or my health director issues. It's really what people do every day in their own lives that ultimately has this huge effect across the state.
I don't know about you guys, but whenever I hear these type of people talk about the people that could die, I always get the feeling that they're not talking about people that they love. Oh no, is it just me? Somehow I feel like they're not talking about themselves or other people that they love. It's always seemed like they're talking about these faraway people that are just, expendable. Oh, you know what else? I got a feeling they're talking about us, Johnson. Yeah, it's talking about you and me. The poor blokes. The rubbish. The guy I was talking about, Anderson Cooper, was the governor of Ohio. Yeah. Yeah, he's talking about how, distancing, social distancing, Governor Christie, boy, I tell you, man, former Governor Christie. I tell you, he's, for some reason, the lack of compassion kind of rings through. Yeah, we're going to lose people. It's unavoidable. Sometimes you got to lose people. Lose weight. Somehow, I think you're more concerned with is the buffet at Golden Corral going to be open? The way you talk, like this is no big deal. Like this is just a small thing. Look, I'm not under delusions that we're going to be able to be on lockdown forever, nor do I like lockdown, okay? Don't like it, not a fan. But look, actually wake up every day going, I had enough, Johnson. Yeah, I got to know the wife all over again and rekindle things. But yeah, we go back to things being normal. I mean, no disrespect. But we keep seeing much more of each other, maybe there'll be problems. But to make it seem as if these unhinged bastards who beat their children or beat their spouses are somehow a mitigating thing, like, well, because we got unhinged bastards, bloodthirsty scumbag animals at home hurting their kids, I guess we got to let them kids go to school and catch the corona. Yeah, but what about the others of us who don't hit our spouses and don't put our kids in dryers? We don't want your kids or their kids bringing us the corona that kills grandpa. And also for the record, it ain't just grandpas and grandmas as if that's okay if they leave. Or not leave. Why sanitize it for them? If they perish. There's young people dying too, Johnson. A lot of you young bastards that think you're going to live forever, you're not. Some of you are not going to. Hate to break it to you. You know what? Some of you have pre-existing conditions that you don't know pre-exist. You could be just as susceptible and just be just as much out of here as anyone else. So let's stop acting like it's only 90-year-old great-great-grandmas who are just looking at the watch going, is it that time? No, it takes people in their prime or not so in their prime. And every life is precious. Didn't you just hear that dripping with love and empathy coming off Governor Christie when he said it? Are we going to go back to work? See, we care about the numbers of the dead. They care about the numbers of the fed. We care about, like, how many of us will be leaving. They care about what's the Wall Street budget going to be receiving. You up here caring about if you can stay in context, live in context, and they're wondering what can they do with the industrial military complex. Get what I'm saying? We're losing prisoners. They're losing their workforce, Johnson. The prison industrial complex needs live bodies, and they're getting succumbing to coronavirus. What should they do? That's their workforce, you know. So, look, it's a bad situation. No one's denying that. But to think it should all be remedied by just sending people back to work, I think what needs to happen is all the good people. If I could get all the good people in Wisconsin, all the good people who were in Michigan, all the good people of Virginia together without them shooting me, if I could talk to them and just tell them, the ones we should be pissed off with are the government officials, not just state governors specifically, but the federal government who will not allocate money to tie you over. And if not that, to put a moratorium on rent and mortgage for at least 4 or 5 months to get us through this. I'm with you, man. Everybody's budget's impacted. I'm by no means well off at all. Nowhere near it. I gave up all prospects of doing that when I started doing this. Okay? But we need to put blame where it needs to be. And we want to put pressure and we want to protest. We need to be protesting the government that gave the corporations the money instead of giving it to you. Instead of giving it to your small business. That's where we got to focus our attention. Because your life, it should not be expendable. Even if you're willing to risk it, Johnson. Even if you're willing to throw it all on the crap table for the kids. Look, I respect that. But they need you here too. They love you. Why, I don't know. You hard, thick-headed bastard. But they do. And they need you here present. Not just bringing them presents. And as much as you love Trump, or as much as you love whoever, McConnell, those bastards did us wrong. And the Democrats too. They all did us wrong, Johnson. All of them. So let's protest that. Let's get up in arms on that shit. Let's do that instead of picketing for a chance for you to play Russian roulette with the coronavirus. Let's do that instead. How about we do that, Johnson? How about we do that?